Yep, we're live.
That's wonderful.
Welcome. Hello, ladies. And it is Tuesdays with Taylor. How is everybody doing as you guys are coming on? Let me know you're here. And at the top of the link up there, you'll see StreamYard allowing you to have permission to give your name so I know who's chiming in. But as you're coming on, let me know you're here and say hello. I have a beautiful guest here today with me with Tuesday with Taylor. And so I have to go back. So all of my interviews are completely impromptu. So I never know really what's actually going to happen here. But I will tell you, the first time that I met you, and you probably don't know this or probably don't remember it, I'm not sure. But we were at an E-Women's networking event here in Dallas. And Cherry was speaking, and I came up and introduced myself to you and had long conversation with you. I'm like as if you're in the pool of a sea of many, many women there. And I had this amazing, we connected, and I was like, okay, maybe she remembers me from that, because it was so phenomenal, because that was the first time that I'd actually heard you guys speak together. And so you were at the table. Do you remember that?
Now you're saying it, I do. Like, some people leave an impression, and now I remember. Sometimes you just have to hear the story to remember, right?
Yeah.
I do remember that moment. Yeah.
So I mean, because you never know. But I always like to pinpoint, like, whenever I meet somebody in the first time and I make that connection, I burn it in my brain. And so I'll never forget. I love the energy. And then as fate would have it, we come full circle again. And, here we are in this space working together and really just serving our community and serving, other women and other networkers in our space. So I just thank you so much for taking out time to be here today. I'm so excited.
I love to be here. It's awesome.
So some of the ladies don't know you that well. And I mean, so we're going to really, and as I talked about here before, because this is, She Networks, sharing her excellence here. This is a really great time for you to share, the things that we don't get to share from the stage. People look at us and they go, wow, they've got it, they have got it made, right? And they don't know.
Overnight success.
Yeah, they don't know the tears on the pillow. They don't know, the struggles, right? And we don't always get to share those pieces of that journey. And so I love to share this piece because I think it's really the inspiration. Hello, as you guys are coming on, say hey. It's so inspirational. I love stories. I'm so passionate about where people come from, that they can share the journey. And so women can connect with that, and they go, it's so inspiring. I can do that. Maybe I can, if they can do that and overcome that, I can too. And so that's what I get excited about. So Esther, how are you? You're going to be a mama.
I'm going to be a mama. Yes. In a few months, July 28th.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe have it July 17th on my birthday.
Maybe it's going to happen. I think it's going to come a little earlier, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do think so. Sherry doesn't like it. Sherry wants a lion, a Leo.
Cancer's beautiful. Cancer's beautiful, loyal, passionate. I mean,
I know.
It's amazing. Right? I've got a Leo. My baby is a Leo, but Cancers are amazing. So congratulations to you too. I'm glad we were just having, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah. So tell us about you.
I have a long story, but I will try to keep it short. But there are some important pieces about my life that really created the person I am today. And it is a journey of a lifetime, right? They always say, and one thing I remember, and I want to start with that, is my grandmother, when she was 93 years old, she was ready to go to the other side. And I went to her bed and I said, Grandma, I'm so sick and tired of all my life lessons. And it's so hard. And she said, one thing will never change, and that is your life lessons, and you will grow every single day and things will come on your path. And she said, I'm 93, I'm laying here, I'm still learning today. And I never forgot that she told me, life lessons will never end and come on your path. Even when you think you got it all together, something happens. And, I never forgot it. And every single something happens, yes, she told me, and she was 93. So, yeah. So that's how, my life, I am from the Netherlands. I grew up in The Hague. It's a small country, 16 million people in the whole country. It's like from east to west, it's 2 hours, north to south, 3 hours. So just to put things in perspective where I'm coming from.
Well, I mean, so I live in Texas, so that's literally on the other side of Dallas, Fort Worth for us.
Yeah.
That's perspective. I mean, that's how long it would take me to get maybe to the other, I live on the way north. I mean, you live in LA, that's almost the same. That's really perspective. That's crazy.
It's a small country, but amazing people. Don't take away my Dutch part. the Dutch are proud. So I grew up there in a family with an identical twin sister and a younger sister. And a few things, being an identical twin, people are very, excited about it. As an identical twin, I found it very challenging for the first 16, 17, 18 years. We are identical. So like nobody ever knew if it was me or my sister, and always comparing, like it was very annoying, right? There's no identity. Like when you're just a lonely only child, you have an identity. We always had to share our identity. And so I found it very tough. Not a very big deal, but it had an impact on how you start later to develop your identity. Actually, when I started to study in Amsterdam, dentistry is where my identity actually came to the surface more and more, because my sister went to another university than I did. We went different directions. So
let's talk about that for just a minute. And by the way, because I am having some internet issues, if I happen to go away, just keep talking. I'll come back.
I will keep talking.
Just keep talking. I'll be back. But this piece right here, I mean, because it's hard enough to have your own identity and figure out who you are.
Yeah.
Whenever you don't have somebody else that's just like you. I mean, I never thought about that. It never occurred to me, that if you're the same, you're not your own person, right?
You're not your own person. No, people, kids are tough and they bullied us because they didn't know who we were. Like, so they just started to tease us and bully us. And it was a very tough time. And on top of that, we had a very tough time at home. My dad was abusive from a mental perspective. Like, never was anything good enough. He was sometimes physical abuse, but I can take a hit, but when you hear all day long that you're not good enough and you're sitting not right and your drawings are awful and when you get your rates at school, like it's not high enough and the way you walk is not good enough, anything was ever good enough. So that's how I grew up with that mindset. So that was really, really, really tough.
It's interesting that you say that in this particular day, because I was just actually listening to a message this morning with Joel Osteen. And he was talking about how we are all programmed, good or bad. We all have programming. And how do you overcome bad programming, right? That you have to learn how to delete those files that, if it's bad programming. And, to think about where you are now. I mean, like that must have been a huge challenge, to be bullied.
It was a huge challenge. I was bullied. I was, I had a hard time, and on top of that, I went to a Catholic high school, and I'm not Catholic. So I went to a Catholic high school because it was the best high school, right, in The Hague. And then the director of the high school decided that was a great target to abuse every Friday afternoon in school for 2.5 years. So I've been raped for 2.5 years, between 15 and 17 and a half years old.
Now say that again.
Yeah, I've been abused every Friday afternoon by the director of my high school. Every Friday afternoon. And he said, if you tell you don't graduate. And so it was really, really tough. And at that time, I really wanted to commit suicide and I didn't want to live anymore. I felt my soul was ripped out of my body and why I was on this planet, getting bullied, getting raped, getting abused by my dad. Like, why am I on this freaking planet, right? So I went through a lot of tough times as a child and teenager and a young adult. On top of that, my life was not an easy start and I had to overcome a lot, for sure.
So it's, this is a really interesting thing because, whenever you think about like growing up in those years, if you're being abused at home, sometimes the kids will look to the school as the safe haven. Or if you're being bullied at school, you go home and that's your safe haven.
Yeah.
Essentially, you had no safe haven or place that you felt safe. I
No,
mean,
my safe place was outside. I was literally an outdoor child. I was always, as soon as I could be outside, I was playing outside and climbing in trees. And I was not the typical girly type playing with her dolls, but I was an outside girl, and I played field hockey from a young age, and I became very successful and all the way to the top. But I think the drive was inside of me. As long as I can be on the outside and on the field and on the ground, and instead of being home or in school, I will be okay. And that's where I spend a lot of my time.
so, so there's probably, having that kind of being, I want to abused from an authority figure,
Yeah.
from both angles, and then not having the freedom to be able to speak out, and have no safety to speak out in any way. There's no way to speak up for yourself.
Now, actually, I never told this to anyone. Only 5 people in my life know that I've been abused when I was a teenager. My parents don't even know. My sister doesn't know. There are 5 people. And the reason I'm sharing right now is because a few months ago, I've been asked to be on the board of an organization here in the United States that's going to reveal all the abuse of the Catholic Church and also the sex trafficking that's happening right now. And I'm one of the board members, and I have to speak out loud what happened. So I'm going to be the face of changing that and let people have a voice to share their stories and get their stories out and catch the people who did it to them, and actually get, maybe in the US, it's very common to get compensated financially. And in Europe, it's less working that way. But, I have to have a voice for this group of people. And a lot of women are abused, and especially the Catholic Church. It's sex trafficking is horrible right now. It's the number one crime that's happening in the world. So, I'm stepping up in that, and I have to share my story. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Wow. I mean, and so I honor you for that, for being a voice for people that don't have the voice. But, but there had to have been a lot of probably shame that comes with that, that you had to overcome. I mean, so let's talk about this. So now we're getting into the college. Was your sister abused?
Not by him. I think she has been abused by another teacher in the same school. They called it a relationship, but I never talked to my sister about it. She doesn't want to talk. My sister has been raped when she was 19 by a 30-year-old guy, not related to school. I know that, but they called it a relationship. But, I told my sister, are you sure there was a relationship, or just, kind of manipulation, call it that? And actually it was abuse. It's such a manipulation what these men do. It's like, it's just ugly. And a lot of women go through it. And it's like, there's so much shame because they put so much fear inside of you that you cannot share. And that makes it like, you have to be ashamed of it. So that's why, most women don't talk about it. And they just carry it with them for 30 years before they actually speak out loud what happened. And so that's reality. So
did you not only shame, but maybe fear? I mean, how people would see you.
The fears, what will people believe me, what they think, and I had no safe place to go to. So where would I go with my story? Like, I had nobody to share my story with. And where I had my safe place, my field hockey teammates, I didn't want to talk about that. Like, I just, decided to have a life outside my life and to stay alive, actually.
I can see that, looking for a place where you can escape, that was like your place to escape and get away from the reality of what you were actually living. I can see. So whenever you went through college, so now you're separated from your sister, you go through a different college. Well, what was that like? What?
Yeah, in Europe, you skip college. Like, you either go to college or you go to the university. It's not college and then university. So it's a different school system. So what we learn between 12 and 17 at high school is what you learn here between, I think, 10 and 14, and then 15 to 17 is the next level. So we have that all in one school. And then you go straight into where you want to go. And I went to dentistry, so I became dentist.
Okay. So, and so you went to dental school, you're a dental in, so then you're in the Netherlands, you're working for a dentist, you are a dentist, you're,
Yeah, I studied for a dentist, so I became a dentist. I studied in Amsterdam, I lived there, and I worked with dentists and also started my own practice right at the time, but I hated it. I really hated it. So I never liked it.
what made you decide to go there? What made you decide to be a
You
dentist?
know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my parents really wanted me to become a dentist. And my neighbors at the time, our neighbors at the time were a dentist and dental hygienist. And they thought like, Esther, this is perfect for you, right? So I had no clue what I wanted. Like I was like a lost soul back in the day. And I didn't know. I just followed their guidance. And then the rest of the school that I was amazing. And I thought, okay. And I'm not a quitter. So I decided to finish it. Although after my first year, I said, why in the hell am I doing this? Like, I don't want to be in people's stinking mouths all day. I'm a people person. So now I put my fingers in their mouth. I cannot talk to them. And most people are scared and afraid of seeing me. So that's not a fun job at all. And then I found out that it's the number one suicide occupation is dentistry. So yeah, the highest suicide is under dentists and orthodontist.
Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea. Okay, so that's very interesting. That's a stat that I never knew. So you hated it. I can see why you would hate it. I mean, because like
it's not nice, trust me. It's like I can tell you stories you don't want to know.
I can
You never kiss anyone anymore in your life except Larry.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, and that's a good thing, trust me.
Well, so you've gone through all this schooling, you're in this profession that you hate. So what's next? I mean, how do you get out of
The next thing is now the universe stepped into my life, but very tough. I was in a really bad accident 6 months after I graduated as a dentist. I just started my practice and everything. I was in a really bad accident. I was on my bicycle and 2 motorcycles hit me from behind. So I was on the bicycle path. In the Netherlands, you have a bike path. Yeah. And then there was a road and then there was a gas station. And 2 motorcycles, I heard them behind me and they came and I was on the bike path. And then one decided to go through the gas station, the other on the road. They were racing and the guy didn't see me on the bike path right in the middle. When they came back together on the road, I was right in between. So I was like a little hamburger smash, did some interesting things in the sky. And the interesting thing is I didn't break anything. My shoulders were like my shoulders and my arms. And it was like everything was painful. Like my whole body was like painful. But the worst thing that happened, they didn't see my internal bleeding. And so I was bleeding inside of my tummy area. And I didn't feel well, and I went back to the hospital 4 or 5 times. I said, I cannot breathe. I don't feel well. It's stress. You have anxiety. I said, I don't have anxiety. I really don't feel well. And then I went back home, and I passed away. And then my girlfriend at the time, and nobody knew I had a girlfriend on top of that because I just came out of the closet on top of that. Like it was like this roller coaster of change in my life. So I had a girlfriend for, I think, 2 weeks. And it was a secret. Nobody knew. And then I had my accident. And then I ended up in the hospital because with sirens, ambulance, like they put me in a scan and they figured out I had 38 blood clots in my body. I almost died from a lung infarct, like blood in my lungs. And they put me right away at the ICU.
So you had a blood clot in your lung?
6 in my lungs and 38 in my legs.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, so that was, yeah.
You're lucky you survived that.
Yeah, some people don't survive 1 blood clot. I survived 38. And but I was at the ICU for a month. I was trained to the bed, blood thinners. I died twice. I had that experiences at that time. I know them very clear. They're 2 very good experiences. I still want to write a book about it. It changed my life. That's actually the moment of change of my life is right there at the ICU. I became very clear about my life purpose, that I had to live, that I had to become a strong power woman to make it happen. And it changed my whole life. So it took 3 years to come back. I was in a wheelchair for a few years. I had to learn to walk again, rehab, recover, change careers. I lost all my friends. I was the one making a lot of money. So I was the one having a car and paying for all the drinks, and then you realize that sometimes friends are friends. And I went through a total shift. I had to tell my family I had a girlfriend. They didn't like that I had a girlfriend, but they were happy I was still alive. So I think it was a good time to tell them. It was a crazy time. Between 23 and 26 is when I totally turned my life around. So it's 23, 26, where a lot of things happened for me. And actually, things happen for a reason. And sometimes when you go through adversity and tough things in your life is where actually you change, where you grow, and then you have a choice. What are you going to do with it, right? So from that point forward, I started to read a lot of books, went to a lot of courses. I changed my career path. I went to the fitness industry. I opened gyms. I was passionate about getting my body in shape and want to help others to be healthy too. But I also realized that's not really my path at all, right? So, and I wanted to do more with people, and I also wanted to have a career that has a little bit more than working in the gym, because I knew I had more to offer. So I went to corporate in the Netherlands. I went to a financial services company of all places. But they offered me a position as a business unit director to rebuild a division that was far in debt, to make it profitable again. And they gave me 6 months to do it. And actually I did. I hustled and grinded, and I proved myself that I can actually build something from scratch and even below that. So I became the sales director of 8 business units after that story. And then when the company got sold, I became the CEO of that company. I was 32 years old at the time, running a company with 800 employees. I learned a lot in that time, and also realized, like, I don't want to be a CEO of 800 employees. Like, it's a headache. And if I make all this money for this company, why don't I just start building my own company? Why don't I just start being an entrepreneur and live life on my terms and have the freedom? And that's what I did. So after that, I decided I'm going to be my own woman. I'm going to build my own company. I started a consulting company in the Netherlands where I helped entrepreneur business owners to grow their business. And I was a consultant for large organizations like Shell, IBM, Unilever. We all know the big names, to help them with reorganization and restructuring of their divisions and departments, and also especially sales and marketing. And I also started to do rice retreats to Spain. 4 times a year, I went to Spain with Power Women, and I'm still doing that as of today, right? So when I moved to the United States, I will get to that point. But that has been my career path, like a total change at the age of 23, moving my career forward. So are you still here, Taylor? Are you loving it?
I'm so sorry. I'm like, there's nothing like technology. I so apologize.
I know.
You're
fine.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what else to do. They've been here like 20 times to fix my internet, and it's not working. So you left me hanging, because I'm like, you're just getting to the good part, and I'm like, it died on.
So where did I because I kept talking.
I know. Okay, so what I want to know, so where I went away was whenever you were telling me about how you died twice, and you had near-death experiences. So that's where I was like, oh my gosh, I got to hear about this. You want to write a book? Like, tell me about this. Please tell me about what was that like? I mean, I know that's
they're both totally different. It's very hard to explain. That's why I still didn't wrote my book, because I have to really be in like a few weeks or months all by myself in the middle of nowhere to really tap into what happened. But if I can summarize it, it's like there are 2 different experiences. So one was literally like the tunnel they talk about, right?
Yeah.
And it started physical with me. I didn't feel my feet anymore, and then my legs. And I told the nurse to call my girlfriend, because I said, I'm going to die. And she said, no, you're not going to die. And I said, I am going to die. So call her. And so I literally felt the livelihood just taking away from me, like my legs, and then up to my tummy. And then it went all the way up, and the tunnel was at the same time going that direction. And it was like weird. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel and my life passing, and then didn't feel my body anymore. And then, of course, my heart stopped for a while, and then I came back. And so when I saw the other side, it was a beautiful experience. I cannot say anything else, that I'm excited to go to the other side when it's my time. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, it's happy, it's light, it's like gorgeous. But they were also very clear, girl, you have to go back. It's not your time yet. So, and then I think a week later, I had another experience where I literally got out of my body and saw myself laying in the hospital bed with all the monitor going crazy, like flat lines, and 8 doctors around my bed and trying to get me back. And they gave me, when I was up there, I got very clear insight and instructions to the key why I'm on this planet, and that I have to be this power woman that has a voice for other women, and that along the way, I will get signals in my life to make the right choices and decisions to move forward into that direction, and that I had to trust the process, and I had to go back. It was non-negotiable. But I didn't want to go back. I said, I want to stay here. They said, you have to go back. So I went back. Yeah, that's the summary. There's a whole long story around it, but yeah, it's a process to put it in a book so people understand it when they read it. Because when you go through some experience, it's really, really tough to describe the other side.
Wow. Oh, that's a power. I mean, I've heard both things. I've heard both things. Like, when I'm going to show this, yeah, I literally, what does it?
Yeah,
right?
That's so true, right? It's true.
So, and for those of you, like, because you can see where it says Facebook user, guys, like, you got to let StreamYard give you permission to give your who's actually saying this, because I don't know otherwise. So, and then to top it all off, now you have a girlfriend, you're sharing this with your family for the first time. They know this. So, I mean, that's like, was that stressful? What was that like?
No, yeah, it was. I didn't care at that point. Like, I was still alive, I was happy, and I was in love. So who cares when you're in love, right? But the funny thing is, my twin sister already came out of the closet 6 years before that. And my parents were totally happy with that, excited. They said, oh, we always knew. And when I came out of the closet, it was this difficult nightmare. My parents were like flipping that they never expected from me. And I had a lot of boyfriends, right? So I was dating left and right. So they expected me to come home with a man and have grandchildren. And, I ruined her. But my younger sister has 4 children. So she is straight, divorced and single now, single mom with 4 kids. But at that time, she saved the family name, yeah. As they like to say.
Yeah. Well, this process and this journey, so you're out of the hospital, you're going through this healing journey. I mean, take us through that process, because if after being in ICU that long, I mean, you were obviously
ICU a month, and then 5 months hospital on top of that, so 6 months, and then I went to a rehab. But I hate it, because people are so negative. People say, I'm never going to get out of this wheelchair. I'm never going to walk again. I never can move my arm again. And I said, whatever going to happen, I'm going to walk. Like, I don't care what any doctor says, but I'm committed to walk, and I'm going to run. So,
see, I love this mindset, because, Esther, like, sometimes, people, like, they just, whenever life happens, right? Life happens to you, or life happens for you.
Yeah,
you've heard that before. And I mean, the wherewithal and the, what you've experienced through this whole process, and the fact that you haven't let any one of these things could have mentally beat you, and you could have succumbed, right? You do. I mean, like, it's true.
I had a lot of tears on my pillows, though. Trust me. I cried a lot, and I went through a lot of heartache. Like, it's painful to go through all of this. But I also knew that I was here for a bigger picture and a reason, and I had to be strong, and I had to learn to be strong, because when you're pushed down your whole youth, it's really hard to get that out of your brain, right? When people say something, that you don't take it personal. Yeah. And so I think what the book I read when I was in the hospital changed actually my whole life. It's the 4 Agreements of Don Miguel Ruiz. I think most people know this book. It's an amazing book. It's very thin. It's powerful.
What's it called?
The 4 Agreements.
The 4 Agreements. Okay.
Yeah. And when I read that book, it put me on a journey of personal development and personal growth, and really tapping into my psychic side I always had. Like, as a child, I could see dead people and I could see things, and my parents told me that was crazy. It was just a dream. But after my near-death experience, I realized even more powerfully that I actually see things and that they're true. Now, I don't want to see everything all day of every single person, so I learned also to just tune out. But I still use it. Like, I have a very powerful sense, and I see things. I know who I do want to do business with, and I don't want to do business with. I know who I want to hang out with, and I don't want to hang out with. But people always ask, "Can you tell me about my life?" And I said, "No, you're here for a reason. You have to walk your own path. I'm not disturbing your path."
But here's the thing. Like, I mean, the reality is that we're all here. Each one of these women here. That's why I love this. This is why I created this network. Because every single woman here has a journey. Every single woman here is for a purpose, and she has a gift and a calling for someone else that needs to hear her story, you know?
Yes.
And we all have it. We're all here for a purpose. But sometimes, like, I don't think people like see that. They're waiting, or they can't see it for themselves. And so sometimes it's really great to surround yourself with people who can see it for you before you see it for yourself. But I love the fact that, I mean, even though the tears on the pillow, the strength that you embody to push through and push forward and realize that it's happening for you and for someone else to follow behind you.
Yeah. And so I wanted to be an example. So I started doing my RISE retreats to Spain 4 times a year for women, leadership retreats and transformational retreats. I powerfully chose to just do women because I knew there's enough for men to do out there, and most of them don't want to even do personal development. Like, that's woo-woo. But for women, it really helps them to be with a small group of women and share their stories and step into their power. And that's one thing. When I met Sherry 6.5 years ago, I said, whatever we're going to do, I'm not going to give up my retreats to Spain. And I'm still doing them. So it's
well, so you started doing that, like, so
not right away. So I came out of the hospital wheelchair there was a period of 3 years of recovery, but it was really tough because it's not just your physical, not your body doesn't work the way you want it. That's frustrating enough. And I played on a very high level field hockey, right? So I played on the highest level of competition, and I was determined to become the best of the best, and that was taken away from me. I could never play again. Till today, I didn't play. And my dentistry, although I hated it, like, if everything is taken away, and then my friends left, who were not my friends, obviously. So I literally was by myself during the day. My girlfriend was a chef, so she left in the afternoon and came back home in the middle. So most of the day I was by myself. And I had a struggle being home alone, going through the journey and not being able to go outside or do your thing. It was really tough. So I told my girlfriend I want a dog. So we got a puppy, and I had to go outside with the dog. So it pushed me to go outside and meet people again. And I had to think, what do I want to do? And I was in a rehab, and then I didn't want to go there with all the negative people. So I said, I just want to work out in a gym. And so I went to a gym, and then the gym owner was part of a franchise, and he asked me to become a general manager and open the gyms in the Netherlands. And I said, I will take it. I have nothing to lose, right? So
well,
that's how I started again.
And I love the fact that you share about your dog, because here's the thing, like, you know, sometimes if you focus on taking care of someone or something outside of your circle, you know, that somebody else is dependent on you, or something, a pet, you know, it gets your mind off of you. I always think about, like, you know, there's always someone else you can put your focus into that's going through maybe more of a challenge than where you are. And you can get your mind off of your set of circumstances and put it in. And so I love that trajectory, like, because it got you out of the house. If that wouldn't have got you out of the house, you wouldn't have been going to the gym, maybe, right? You know, so yes. This process, I love it. I think this clears the path for what's next, right? And just keep taking steps. It's like driving in the fog, right? As long as you can take one step, take the next step. right?
Now, that was literally how my rehab was. Like when I started to learn, I could do 2 steps and I was like exhausted. Like literally if I just run a marathon. And then it was 3, 4 steps, then 10 steps, 20 steps, like 50 steps, 100 steps. And then I was ready to go on a bicycle. And then it was like, you have to start all over again. Like it's the weirdest thing. And then I was on a rowing machine and I had to start all over again, like 10 seconds. I was like, passing out. It's like frustrating, especially playing sports on a very high level. I had a great body and great condition. And so being like a dodo bird, cannot move, passing out after 10 steps was like, oh my God.
That's gotta be challenging of itself, because to have a physical body and be physically limited, knowing what you're physically capable of.
Yeah,
and
that was the frustrating part. And your
that-
mind wants to do it. So it's like so frustrating. And it took away my freedom. Freedom is, I think, the highest value I have in my life. So I felt like I was trapped in my own body and trapped in my own home. I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. Everybody went on the weekends, go party and hang out, and I couldn't go anywhere. And it was a very frustrating time. But, you know, I had to go through it. I had to. Like, I was not really another option. You know, I didn't want to jump off my balcony back in the day and just, you know, end it, because I was very clear. I was here for bigger pictures and bigger mission. So I kept going. And so I've been building my career from that point forward. But the gym was not really my future. Like, I realized that too.
Well, so take us to where, take us to where you were now. How did you get to Sherry? Like, how did this happen? Like,
Sherry, that's a great story. So after the gym, I realized I needed more for my career. So I went to a financial services company where I became a business unit director. And the funny thing is, I had an interview with the CEO, and she said, like, I only invited you because it doesn't make any sense why you're applying for this job, but you have an interesting story here, and I just wanted to meet you. And I said, okay. So I told my story, and she said, okay, you're hired. I said, what do you mean you're hired? She said, oh, if you have this determination, then I know you don't even have education to do this job, but I know you're going to do it. And I said, I will. And I had no clue what I said yes to. The funny thing is, I had to run a business unit. They had 8 business units: HR, finance, IT, security. And their HR unit was totally in depth, like literally ready to cut the cord and say goodbye. And she said, I give you a chance to, in 6 months, get it back profitable. And I said, okay. And I had no clue what to do. Like, so I arrived my first day, and he said, here's the office. And I had an empty desk with nothing, just an office, nothing on the wall, just an empty desk. He says, you can go to IT to get your laptop and your phone and get your car keys, and good luck. And I just enter my office and I look around like, really? So I went to all the other people. All the other people in the office, guys, can you help me? Now, old men, like, there were no women in the freaking office except HR, 2 women. And at the desk, the secretary was like, the assistant was a woman, only freaking men. So I knocked on their door, say, guys, can you get me help? It's my first day. No, we're not here to help, figure it out. I said, okay, if this is going to be the way it is. So I just started to pick up the phone, and I started to call, and I hired 2 people to help me. And she said, you have no budget, but make it happen. I said, okay. And I did it. Like, I got deals coming in left and right. And I was driving to the Netherlands and calling, making it happen. And in 6 months, we were profitable. And actually, we did more revenue in 6 months than any other business unit at the time. So then she said, okay, this is why I hired you. Now you're going to be the sales director over all 8 business units, and only men. So I started to hire women, because I was sick and tired to deal with only men. Like, you need a balance of women and men. I don't believe in only women or only men. So I started to hire all these women, and those men were like, woo, they got excited. I said, men, stay. You didn't want to help me before. Stay away from my women. We're not dating here. Like, get to work.
I love this. I love it. I love it. I love that mindset. I mean, so, okay. So obviously that was quite a success. So
that was my big success story. And actually, I sent her an email 2 weeks ago, but I've not seen her for 10 plus years. So I sent her an email and to thank her for her mentorship, and that I would love to see her. She's much older, So she said, when you're next time in the Netherlands, we're going to have a lunch or dinner. So she was an amazing mentor for me. But I had a strategy. I told my people, like, you have a target and you have to hit it. If you hit it by Wednesday, you have a 4-day weekend. If you hit it by Thursday, you have a 3-day weekend. Hit it by Friday, you have a 2-day weekend. If you don't hit it by Friday, you have no weekend. And they all got to work. They worked so hard. And people actually hit it on Wednesday or Thursday. And the funny thing is, they kept coming back. So on Friday, we all drinks together and fun and talked about it. And just a different way of motivating people than most people do.
Hey, but this right here, this is speaking my language, because this is true culture. This is creating an environment that allows people to thrive. And whenever you create an environment that gets people to want to do it versus do it, then the whole atmosphere changes. There's a huge difference in that kind of thinking. And so it's brilliant on your part to be able to create that a way to empower people and give them the right to do and give and reward them for the behavior. That's brilliant. Love it.
And everybody else asks, what the hell is she doing? Like, what is happening there? She's crushing it. And it's only because you give people the freedom to do it their way. And I don't care if they started at 7 a.m. or at 10 a.m. and worked till 5 p.m. or 9 p.m. That was up to them. But people are so motivated to get their freedom and their time off that they worked really, really, really hard. And the funny thing is, they all kept coming back. And then on Friday afternoon, we all went to the bar around the corner and happy hour and have fun. And it was the best time I actually had. But I also realized, if I make this much money for you guys, I better start my own company. And when I told the CEO, she said, no, I'm selling the company and I want you to be the CEO. And so I became the CEO at age 32 of a company with 800 employees. And the new owner I didn't like. So I told him, he had a whole strategy I didn't agree with. I said, I don't agree with your strategy. So I'm going to give you 3 months. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm gone in 3 months. It's up to you. So after 3 months, I left. And I started my own company. I started my own consulting company. And then they sued me because I started my own company. I was their number one producer, their number one leader, and the number one bringing all the revenue. So now there's this lawsuit of me starting my own company. And I said, I'm one person by myself. You're a whole company with 54 people in the corporate office and 800 people in the field. You really think that I'm going to outperform 800 people by myself? I think that's an amazing compliment, but I think this lawsuit doesn't make any sense. So I wrote them this whole letter. And then they said, okay, we will take it off the table.
Wow.
I just thought, are you ridiculous? With 800 people against me, you're not going to outperform me. You have to sue me over this.
But it's so true. It's so true, and it's so true even in the space that we live in now. There's such a scarcity type mentality. That there's not enough, or come on,
like this scarcity mindset in any industry. There is no difference, right? So we will get there. So I had my own consulting company when I met Sherry, doing very, very successful things. And I started my retreats back in the day. So I did my retreats and my consult. And I went to the Natural Organized with Success resources events around the world with Tony Robbins and Sir Richard Branson and Robert Kiyosaki and Les Brown. And suddenly there was Sherry Tree on stage. And I'm very, I wasn't interested in anything. I was there with my girl. But I bought Sherry's program. I was really intrigued by the bank system when Sherry spoke from stage. I already was successful. I saw the genius in how bank really can help people to understand people faster in less than 90 seconds. And it was based in biology instead of psychology, because I knew DISC and Myers-Briggs and insights and management types and the color code. I knew them all for my whole career path. But when I heard Sherry, it made so much sense, something easy, fast, and simple. So I signed up, became a customer, went through the training, and then I became an affiliate and a certified trainer. And I just started to think like crazy. And I asked Sherry, when are you coming back to the Netherlands? Because if I start selling here, I need somebody to fulfill. She said, yeah, you have to sell a lot, otherwise I'm not coming back. So I started to sell like crazy. And back in the day, it was a network marketing company when I met Sherry. And so I did a half sales in 6 months of the bank product in Europe. And halfway, around 3 months, Sherry came back to Europe. And we traveled together for 30 days through 5 countries I opened: the Netherlands, Belgium, the UK, Sweden, and France. And then we ended in Switzerland on Valentine's Day. And we fell in love during this 30 days. So we fell in love and like, oh, dang it, now we have a problem. Like United States, Netherlands, like it was like an 11-hour flight every single time. We had been dating for a year back and forth between the Netherlands and the US. So that's how I met Sherry.
What happened to the girl? What happened to your girlfriend? Like what?
Oh, I broke up with her in December, and Sherry came back in late January. So, and I was not planning on dating or a relationship. Like I was just like focused on the business and just, you know, showing the Americans that Europeans can sell too.
Okay.
There was no intention right there, but it just happened, and it was crazy. And then we just, you know, we realized that it was actually Sherry asked me. We met. The speaking when I met Sherry was late October, and then she came back at the end of January, and then in July she asked me to marry her. So I said yes. And then November of that 2014, I moved to the United States. So in less than a year, the circle was round.
Well, because you guys, I mean, you are, I don't know that you were, I mean, whenever I met you, I think that maybe you weren't married yet whenever I met you.
No, we got married August 8th, 2015. 8/8/8 is when we got married.
Yeah. So I think I met you in April of that year.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got married pretty fast though.
So now, so you gave up your business. So you gave up to do business together, and so you moved to.
I sold my company. I sold my home, sold my car, sold my furniture, and gave the rest away to charity and foundations and people who needed it. And I just came here with 2 suitcases of clothes and started a whole new journey with Sherry. And everybody said, "Oh, you just marry Sherry for the money." And I said, "That's not true, because there is not that much money." When I met Sherry, she just came out of the storage unit where she lived in. She built bank in a storage unit. She has an amazing store. And so she just was rebuilding her business. And so when I met her and I moved here, like it was not an easy journey to come to the United States. In Amsterdam, like being gay is not an issue. And, you know, women, business people are not an issue. When I moved here, being a lesbian business owning couple, being, straight, lesbians, same-sex relationship. And then everybody said, your accent is cute, but I'm also an immigrant. So there were a lot of things I had to fight again when I moved here. And I did think about that. When I moved, there was a lot of things I had to come over again, like accent cute. Like, what do you mean cute? Like, I'm not stupid. Like, it's like all those things that started to mean something, but didn't mean anything. But I had to fight again in the United States. Being gay is not as accepted as in Europe. The Netherlands, I already was married to my first wife when I was 24. So the first gay marriage was in Amsterdam, and the first gay pride was in Amsterdam more than 20 years ago. So moving here, where this is still a big thing in all those states where you cannot love the one you love and not be married to the one you want to be married to, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to fight another battle here. And then being called the girls all the time, like nobody is taking us seriously. And of course, over time that changed, because Sherry and I have been building an amazing company and an amazing movement. It's more than a company and a product, but it was not easy. I'm telling you, like I and my family and friends, and going through the green card process. I didn't see my family for 2 years in the Netherlands. I couldn't go back. Wow. I had to stay in the United States until my green card was approved. So I didn't see my family and friends for 2 years. And that are tough times. And at the time, also when I met Sherry, when I moved here, Sherry did business with the wrong business guy who embezzled a lot of money and put Sherry in debt and ruined her company again when she just started and start making millions again. And then we had to cut that cord. And Sherry, I started together a new company from scratch, from literally zero. Wow. And we have been building this company as it is today together. And I'm very proud of it. And but it was not an easy journey. Like, trust me, like there are all these hurdles, and that I had to think every single time about my grandmother again. Like, okay, there's another hurdle. Thank you, Grandma. Are you watching me?
But yeah. It's such a true. I mean, such wisdom that she had, because I mean, that's true for all of us, such wisdom for her to give to you, because at such a young age, because the fact that it did settle with you, the fact that it did burn in your brain, because you have had to go through many things, and has continued to go through many things, obviously, with the challenges that most people, whenever they look at your life and they see you in social media and they see these things, have no idea what it's taken.
Yeah.
Tears on the pillow, right? The sleepless nights.
Yeah, I always say my overnight success took me 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, but what kudos to both of you to overcome those kind of challenges with the adversities, and then I can't wait for the ladies to hear about Sherry's story. She was actually going to be interviewed last month, but she was sick. I think that's whenever you were traveling out of the country, and
I was in Dubai. Yeah. And she was sick home all by herself.
Yeah. So she's coming. You're going to hear her story too. We gotta get her in here before she has that baby. So where are you at? Where are you guys at now? I mean, tell us about what's happening. I mean, I know we started out the conversation. You're going to be a mom. Do we have any names picked out? Or is that
a name? Yeah, but it's going to be a secret. We call him Simba right now for the outside world because everybody asks. It's a boy, so that's what we share. We have names, and
okay.
And because everybody's, you're not gonna guess it. Like it's not a Dutch name, so don't try to figure it out. So yeah, we're very excited, and that's another thing we have to fight right now. People have a lot of opinions, right? Sherry is 47, pregnant, and lesbian couple. Like, why are you doing this? You already have everything. Like, there's so many opinions people have, and you cannot get attached to what people say. Like, it's just like, if you don't like it, you don't have to be in my life. That's the good news. Like, don't follow me, don't watch me, don't like me, just go. And so that's where we are as a couple. Is we're just very happy and healthy. I think everybody knows that.
Well, and the thing about it is, it's stressful enough. It's stressful enough to have a baby, right? In and of itself.
Yeah.
To have a baby, at this stage of your life.
To get pregnant as a lesbian couple, talk about how stressful that is. And the amount of money you have to spend for the whole process, it's like ridiculous. Like, I just feel for people who don't have the money, who really want to have a child and just don't have the money to go through the process. It's like 60 grand to get that little thing implanted. Like, it's a whole freaking process that's ridiculous. So,
and then I know that, it was maybe a year or so
a year ago
that you guys went.
Valentine's Day last year, we lost the twins.
We lost the twins. And, my heart went out to both of you because, my first baby was stillborn. And so I remember, that. And so, and again, nobody really, if they don't know the journey that it's taken and the pain and the tears to even get to this place in this moment to be celebrated, for the life, that she's carrying. And so prayers for her and safe delivery, the healthy.
She's doing amazing. She's in really good health. She was not sick one day. She was tired in the beginning, and no cravings. She only gained 2 pounds in 22 weeks. So everything goes well. We're playing it week by week, and we go to the doctor every month, and they're gonna ramp it up to every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Because of high risk of the age, but we just play day by day. Like, but that's all we can do. But we are positive and we are excited, and we're gonna raise a little bank baby.
Yeah.
So it's just very exciting. We are very happy. Our company is doing amazing, and I've never seen so happy as she is right now, because last year we decided to become a technology company, Codebreaker Technologies, and really serve the network marketing industry where her heart is, and that's where she grew her company and made millions. And so this is where she invented bank, was in network marketing. So her heart there, and I see her shine every single day. And we are serving so many network marketing companies, and sometimes it's from corporate and sometimes it's from the leaders, and we just love the industry. And I started to love the industry because I don't have network marketing background, except the 6 months when I met Sherry. It was a network marketing company, and then we killed that because we serve that industry, so we cannot have an affiliate program. Actually, as of April 1st this year, we don't have any affiliate programs anymore, or we're just going to be a technology company.
Yeah. That's, that's the space that I know and love, and has been my passion for 28 years now. So, once it's in your blood, it's.
Yeah, and I really started to love it because what I most love is the level of personal development and the growth people go through in network marketing. The people who in their mind maybe never saw a chance for themselves have a big opportunity in this industry. And I met so many amazing people. Like, I go to the events on purpose to just meet amazing people, and I really started to love the industry. I never had an opinion about the industry but I never was in it. And I just love it. It's just an amazing industry, and I see how happy it makes Sherry to serve this industry and train the people and serve them. And that's why we also do the things we're doing right now, just to help everyone as much as we can.
That's for me, that's the same. It's like the relationships that you connect and you build. It's like no other. So it's certainly something I'm so passionate about. And, but let's talk about this right now, because first of all, like, I know that you guys are going to be doing a little seminar and online. So ladies, we're going to share that on a link for you to go to. So here on Thursday, right?
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. So tell everybody a little bit about that.
Now, Sherry and I are sitting down, like, what can we do to give back, right? It's a really tough time for a lot of people. And this is the time to grow. This is time to learn and get the tools you need to really build your business. You already have an advantage. If you're network marketing, you have a home-based business. But this is also a moment you cannot go out networking or meeting people. And some personality that really like to hang out with people, and they're just like, I cannot go anywhere. And so I told Sherry, we have to give back right now. And so we decided to do a 4-week masterclass, totally free, to really train people, partly on bank, but it's actually, we go way wider. It's like personality science. So Sherry's going to share about bank and how important it is to speak somebody's language based on their personality type. Then we're going to talk about sales intelligence, like how sales really works, and how to get the best outcome of any conversation when you sell your product or recruit people to your opportunity. Then we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, what I think is one of the most important skills you can have to really work on your empathy and really a way to connect with people. It's not how smart you are. Nobody cares how smart you are. People care if you really care about people, right? We're in the people's business. So emotional intelligence, then artificial intelligence. So we will share our AI that predicts buying behavior in a nanosecond. That's going viral around the world. We spoke at the United Nations last year, and they invited us again this year, but it's canceled. But we are working with the United Nations. So we will share how artificial is impacting the future and how you can leverage it instead of being against it. And then business intelligence, how to grow your business in this time, especially virtually online. And then spiritual intelligence, that's going to be my section, on how to connect with your higher purpose. And everything you do is not just for you, it's for your family, it's for your team, for your community, maybe even in your city, region, country, or even the world. Just right now, it's for your legacy for the next generation. So that's what I'm going to talk about, that it's so important that everything you do today is not just for you and your family right now today. It is for leaving a legacy and being the legend of your family for the future. Okay. So that are the 6 intelligence we're going to talk about. It's going to be 4 weeks. There are no strings attached to it. It's not just going to be about bank. We want to really touch all 6 intelligence that go with being a great human being and building a great business.
Well, I appreciate it. That's very generous of you. Very, very generous of you. Angela says, baby bank. I love that.
Yeah, because that little guy will hear bank and the bank code everywhere. So he will start selling our little kids cards we're having, right? So we have the little kids cards. And so we already discussed that he is going to sell the kids on stage.
I love that. Well, it's very generous of you two to share this. And so, ladies, we're going to be sharing the link so you guys can take advantage of what they're sharing with the community here. And so, tell me about so we talked about sharing your excellence. So we're going to be, as we're launching this membership site, we're doing sharing her excellence. What is it that you would want to think that every woman, what would be your gift to every woman? What would you want them to know, pertaining to business? What is it that you're going to gift our ladies in this group?
I think the one thing I can give is to be proud of who you are, and that you have a lot of gifts, and there is no better time than now to share it with the world. Like, you've been prepared your whole life, you've been trained your whole life, and I think today the world needs you more than any other moment in time. There is no other time than today, and I think we're in a global reset for a reason. I truly believe this has a high divine purpose. Unfortunately, it's a virus and it will hurt a lot of people. And at the same time, if you keep your vibration high, you take care of yourself, and you step up right now and share your message with the world, whatever it is. Like, I did my Facebook Live this morning about it, right? It's time to step up as a leader because the world needs it. And most people are followers. So you will stand out when you raise your head a little bit higher and become that leader. And people need your story. It doesn't matter what your story is, but I learned over the years that your story will help people. And if you in your mindset believe that you're only a 7 on a scale of 10, then you will be able to help people who are maybe a 5 or 6 in their mindset.
Yeah.
Right? And then you grow. When you mentor, you grow to an 8, and now you can mentor the 6s and the 7s. Yeah. And so that is the moment for you women. The world needs women. I truly believe that the women are going to rule the world. I truly believe they're the only ones who actually can rule the world. Like, look at what the men are doing out there. Look at the government. Look at all those companies run by men. They're not going to make it. And I'm serious. It's not because I'm not a feminist, but I believe women are way more skilled by nature. Yeah. They can multitask. They can organize. They can do anything.
Well, it's most people don't know that 3 out of 4 networkers are women. I mean, but they got men at the top calling all the shots, right? So we've got to step into our power, and we've got.
It's so necessary. Yes. If you look at all the stages, they're all still men, like Eric Worre, Ray Higdon, Danny Clark, Todd Falcone, Sherry, and I. We are going to announce ourselves as the top female trainers of the network marketing industry. I don't care, but it needs more women. Like, what are we talking about? Like, men, you just have to sit back in your chair and listen to us, bitches.
I mean, right beside you, so I don't know. I mean, like, that's what this is all about for me.
Yeah, I totally agree, Taylor. Like, we need more women to have a voice and take their voice to the world and step into that, because it's so needed, right? And this is, if there's one moment in time, it's right now. Like, in a few years, you will look back. Do you remember 2020? Everybody was so excited about Vision 2020, and then it became Coronavirus 2020. But this is the moment where you can say, I'm growing my business, stepping up, I'm having a voice, I share my story. And even if it's just one person a day, you touch your heart, you leave a legacy. Like, I truly believe if there's one person on this call that got something out of this, I have my mission accomplished for today.
That's right.
And that is the mindset you have to have. You cannot chase 1,000 lives right now, but you will if you do this every single day.
It's so true. And it's such a ripple effect. It's like, most people, you got to think about it like this. It's like throwing a pebble into a pond, and it's just one little pebble, but the ripple effect that takes place as a result of sharing your story, it's one finger going out, you talking, but you've got the power coming back to you, and you're like, it's encouraging it and wants you to make you do it more and share more. So tell them, like, I always like to end it with this, like, especially in times like these, whenever, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of all of these things and all this noise that's happening out there. How do you stay centered and focused? Do you use quotes? Do you use a scripture? Is there something that, like, you gravitate to that's like you like to meditate on that you would share with the ladies here? What would that be?
I have my ritual single day, and it's wake up and I meditation. And sometimes I just do my own meditation, and sometimes I listen to a guided meditation, but it puts me in the right mindset and state to really connect to the higher source, and whatever that means for you, God or the universe or angels, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm not attached. I think at the end of the day, it's the same. It's a higher purpose and higher source that guides you through the day. And so I channel that energy, and then I walk Polo, our dog, and then I go on my Peloton bike and my exercise, and then I have breakfast and I dress nice every day. I'm not gonna go sit in my sweatpants watching Netflix. Like, I don't have time for that stuff. Like, I'll do that when I'm 90. So I just wanna be in that energy, and that's what I choose every single day, regardless what the day looks like. When we travel, sometimes it's a little difficult, but I still meditation and still try to walk around or do something. That is my ritual. And we have a lot of powerful quotes in our gym. We have all those memes with quotes. So that is what I see every day. Like,
your favorite one. Okay, give us your favorite one. Like one, like, okay, I love this one. Give us one.
Oh, there's so many, but I really, what I truly believe is stop taking advice from people more messed up than you. Like, because people want to give advice all the time, right? Even to me and Sherry. Like, okay, there we go again. Like, if we had followed all the advice of men gave us, we wouldn't be back in a storage unit. Trust me. Like we know what we're doing. We're on blue eyes, like, and we're women, but we freak know what we're doing. We're building an empire here, right? More than 180 countries. We're serving almost every industry in the world. Don't tell me what to do unless I invite you to give me your advice, right? So it's advice from people more messed up than you. And I always go back to the 4 agreements. That book became my Bible. And let me share them with you. One is be impeccable with your words. So speak your truth, basically. Be honest how you feel. And Americans have the tendency to sugarcoat everything. Mm-hmm. That's so different from the Dutch. Like, Sherry in the beginning is like, oh, did she really say that? When I was on stage, I said something like, oh my gosh, did you? It's like in the back of the room. Did she just say that? But, you have to speak your truth and be honest what you feel and what you think. And sugarcoating is hurting yourself and other people. So be impeccable with your word and don't take anything personally. I think that's one of the most important things. When people say it's their fear or their feelings, projecting it on you to see if you respond to it. So don't take anything personally. Very important. And don't make assumptions. Assumptions are premeditated resentments.
That's so interesting that you said that. Is that I actually had this conversation yesterday with somebody in my I was coaching. And like, you can't, I said, because she was saying something like, you can't take that personal. No. That has nothing to do with you. That's her.
No. And people do that all the time. If you have conversations, like, how many things people want to put inside of your head all the time, right? Like, no, that's not for me. Like, this book is like became my Bible. Like, I just always go back to the 4 agreements. Like, and then the 4th one is always do your best. Like, today you're the best version of yourself, and tomorrow you will be a little bit better. And I think if you have that mindset, then even you had the feeling you didn't do it right, or maybe you could have done better. We always can do better. Perfection doesn't exist, because when you set the bar here, this is my perfect world, then the moment you hit that, you're going to put her higher and you're still not perfect. So stop. I don't even know why that word exists, perfection, because it doesn't exist, right? The same as balance. Like, do you ever try to balance anything? It's like, wee. So just try to create harmony instead of balance. Yes. And just skip the word perfect, right? Somebody grew to love my Dutch director. I think that's Sherry. That must be Sherry. I don't know anybody else who started to love my Dutch directness yet.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm gonna that book right there. I definitely have to get this one, because it's like, always do your best. I mean, that really speaks to everything that we're doing all the time, but especially now, whenever we're in this space and there's so much, listen, one text message, one phone call, anything that would, hey, how are you doing? Checking in on somebody, checking, we talk about this, and you actually did a live on this. It was interesting. You just got back from Europe. And you were going to the grocery store for the first time, and you were talking about
oh my gosh, like when I came back.
oh my God, the people in California are crazy. Like, what? Like,
I was like blown away, like literally, like I knew people were fighting over toilet paper. I still don't get that whole story why you have to fight over toilet paper. That would be the least of my concern in my household if I have toilet paper. You grab a pair of socks, like whatever you're gonna do, but you have to eat, okay? People, you need to eat.
I tell my family, hey, we've got a whole basket full of mismatched socks. Yeah, like totally.
Yeah, wipe your bum, throw it in the washing machine. Like, who cares? Like, but I came in a grocery store and people were like, they just came. I came there and literally most of shelves were empty. So I'm like, okay, this is not a joke. But you have to get creative. So, and there were just a few things, but people started to take it out of my cart. And I felt like, okay, this is not cool. And then, I was, you probably need it more than I do. But I also have a pregnant wife at home that needs protein and fresh vegetables and vitamins, and I have to take care of the nutrition of my wife. So, but at the end of the day, it's not worth it to fight over chicken. So I gave the woman my chicken and, I just went back and there was another piece of chicken. But so it's just sad how people respond in these days. And I just hope that the outcome is that we're all going to be more kind and more loving to each other and just really connect again as a human race. I think this is the whole purpose of, the globe is thriving right now. The oceans the dolphins are jumping out of the water. The birds are chirping. Like, I think it's a global reset and the human race has to step it up a whole notch. Like,
and I agree with you. But at the same time, it's like, it still goes back to if everyone was always focused on the excellence and doing their best, always being, what is the best? What can I do? What can I do outside of the circle that I'm standing in to make somebody else's life better today? Even if you're just focused on making one person's life better today, wow, that's such excellence. And so, it's so funny. I love how you're saying connecting as a human race, because it's like the more social media that we have, it's like the really less connected we truly are.
Sherry and I say that all the time. Like, social media really disconnected people on a whole other level. If I look at my nieces and nephew, they cannot communicate. It's through WhatsApp, 3-letter words, and then I have to guess what they mean, and they have no normal conversations. And that's why we have our mission, one world, one language. We truly believe that bank is going to connect the human race back together. It's so simple and easy, all the way to 4 years old, understand the whole program. So you don't have to be the smartest person. You just have to be willing to be a great human being. And so that's why we're so passionate about, is to really get people back to each other and understand each other. People want to be heard. People want to be seen. People want to be loved. People want to be appreciated. And there is no better way than connecting and just giving that to each other. Like, that's it.
One of the best compliments that I got was actually at one of the women's retreats that I did, the She Retreat that I had in Florida. One of the best compliments that I got at that retreat is like, she said, Taylor, you're the only person that I know, like, that calls me. Like, you pick up the phone and call. And I do, because this is not connecting to me. Writing something, I mean, like, I want you to hear my voice.
I remember that you called me. We had an hour phone call.
Feel my energy. I want you to hear my voice. I want you to hear my expressions. I don't, too much is lost in the translation of them. And so, I mean, that's the magic of that, but I love this. One world, one language. But I know that we've gone over a little longer than normal, ladies. And Esther, this has been such a pleasure, such an amazing interview, so much value. So I had no idea that, I know there's always the struggle. I know there's always the struggle in somebody's story. And I'm so pleasantly surprised to hear your journey, like, and it makes me have so much more love and respect for you, even at a deeper level from, hearing your story. So and I know the ladies do too. And the fact and just picking up the phone.
I like to call people too. It is that I'm so freaking busy, but in the weekend I call my family in the Netherlands. I call my friends. I do it. Like, it's so important. And Sherry told me before that she's excited to do an interview and share a story. And if you want to have a sneak peek, you can read the book already, Why They Buy. Sherry's personal stories in the back of the book, and it will blow you away. What she has done in her lifetime to be where she is right now. She's been voted as the one female speaker in the world, so she's up to something. Yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to have her in and have her story and have her on, especially before baby bank comes.
Yeah, before the baby comes, otherwise you have a crying baby.
Hey, but that's okay. That's totally fine. Everybody here would totally resonate with that for sure.
I already told him that he cannot cry all the time. I talked to him and he said, "You're gonna be a sweet little guy. You're not crying. You're gonna be a good boy."
Well, I'll have something to share with you guys from a mom experience. I'll give you some value on that you'll have to, if you'll hang on afterwards, I'll share some input with that. So anyway, ladies, thank you so much for being here. Esther, thank you so much for taking out
so
share your story and be here. So that is it for us. You guys be looking for, we're going to put the link inside the group so you can register. It's on Thursday night. We'll have that there for you. And so that's it for us today. We're here at the She Network, sharing her excellence, and with Tuesday with Taylor. And thank you so much, Miss Esther. Adios.
Thank you so much, Taylor. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hang on.